We are live. Welcome, welcome. It is Wednesday. It is Ujama Day. It is the Sista Shanice show. Absolutely delighted to be going live and direct to you, our wonderful, fantastic, Blacktastic family. So we are rearing to go. We've got another very deeply insightful show lined up for you today. I have a special guest in the house that we're going to be bringing front of house in a very short while. Let's grab hold of that link. Let's spread the link to the family. Let's let everybody know that we are indeed live and direct on the Sista Shanice show. So much to tell you about, family. Apologies if the internet might be a little slow your end, but certainly hope that it doesn't interrupt with our show this evening. This evening's show is a very, very serious one indeed. We want to draw the attention of our family to what's happening in a particular part of the world that really ought to be the focus of the mainstream media, but is not. So you don't know how it go already. The media on the mainstream tends to want to point us in a certain direction, tend to want to take all of our energy away from what we really ought to be focusing on as a people. And so here on the Sista Shanice show, we have the guests that bring us right back to where we ought to be focusing as a people. So thank you so much in advance to everybody that is already logging on, and thank you so much to those of you who are already sharing the link. Please do share the link. Let everybody know that we are live and rearing to go. You know how it goes, family. So really excited about today's show. As I said, you know, we are the ones who are going to have to be focusing on issues that are impacting on us as a people. This is the channel where we, as a people, begin to talk about the sort of matters that we need to be concerning ourselves with. To those of you who haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe to this channel. To those of you who haven't subscribed to my new channel, African World Affairs, please do subscribe to that new channel as well. Just go into YouTube and do the @ African World Affairs, and my new channel will come up. I'm actually premiering a show that's going to be happening this Friday, 7 p.m. UK time. I am premiering a show called Color Psychology. This is the show, family, that is going to decolonize you and recolonize you, the African family. It's dealing with the African color psychology. And we've got a fantastic teacher who is going to be breaking down the color psychology for us. And in particular, is going to be homing in on the color black, because we know that the color black conjures up in our minds, conjures up images that we have been kind of fed and have been led to think of when we think of the color black. Well, he's going to break down the psychology of it, and he's going to undo what has been done and redo what needs to be done. Because, you know, what he's saying is that we need a whole new concept and a whole new psychological discourse when it comes to the color black. So this is a new educational series, family, and it's going to introduce us and arm us with some new concepts, some new terminologies, some new schools of thought from an African-centered perspective. We're going to be enriching the landscape, family, of our psychology when it comes to colors, and in particular, the color black. We're going to get to the root of some of the cultural, historical, and psychological harm that has been done and is being doing to us as a people within the the conventional Western Framework, excuse me. Take a little sip of water there, thank you. So this is going to be a very comprehensive course. We're going to dig into the human psyche and family. What a teacher we have, Teacher Mitri, who's going to be bringing us this new psychological perspective. So please spread the word. That's going to be on my new channel, African World Affairs, starting this Friday with the premiere, Color Psychology. Okay, really looking forward to that indeed. And you know, got a few more things that I want to announce, but I also am aware I've got my guests behind the stage, so let me bring our guests forward, and then I'll do a few more announcements as you all come through the door. So our special guest for today is going to be Brother Chiro Martin. He is a Pan-Africanist writer, and I'm really looking forward to the conversation that we're going to be having with this wonderful, wonderful brother of ours. And I realize that, you know, the internet is a little bit choppy, but we're going to work with it. We're going to work with it indeed. So our brother is just coming front of house at the moment. It might be a little slow, but we will make it happen. You know how we roll. Doesn't matter what the internet tries to throw at us. We persevere and push through regardless. There we have our brother Chiro Martin in front of house with us now. Welcome, welcome, beloved Chiro. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure and it is an honor. And thank you so much for joining us on this platform today. Looking forward to our conversation. So, family, I'm going to be coming right back to our brother Chiro. Don't go anywhere, brother Chiro. Hang right there, okay? Just going to welcome the audience as they come through the door. So let me go over to YouTube and make sure that we're there. Yes, we're there. The family's coming through the door. Absolutely fantastic. Family, remember to give us a like. Please remember to give us a thumbs up as you come through the door. So just going to try and get the settings right so that I can see the chat, and then I'll be able to see if there are any messages that have been left for us. Let me look on the phone at the same time until the message section comes up. Sometimes it takes a little while. I'm not really sure why, but you know, we will go with the flow. So you know, fantastic. I've got my guest in the house. Our guest tonight is going to be helping us to focus on what is actually happening in Sudan. As I was saying, you know, there's so much going on in the world right now, and it's easy for us to just focus on, you know, other matters that may not be directly impacting on us as a people, because at the end of the day, we as Africans, we are one melanated people. We are one people. We have a multitude of beautiful cultures, a multitude of beautiful languages. You know, some of us have different belief systems, but we are
and you're forgetting something.
People.
Yes, we are a multitude of people, and we are on our own.
And we're on our own. Isn't that just so true? You know, and John Henry Clark reminded us of that. He said to us, we have no friends.
True.
He said, we have no friends. And sometimes we think we do have friends in the world, you know. We see all these institutions, don't we, that are supposed to be there to be helping and assisting, yet they're right there in the midst of all of the genocide and the terrorism and the trauma and the horrors that we suffer as a people. And so we wonder, you know, are they there to really help us as a people, or are they there to just look on, you know, as we suffer as a people? Quite often,
I think everyone is coming with their interests.
Indeed.
Everyone is coming with their interests. Even like before the war in West Africa with the coup that were happening, I think Africans were very happy welcoming the Wagner group, the Russian mercenary group, but they didn't know In a recent speech, Pelo Lumumba said that we were just welcoming another colonial power.
That is so true indeed. And so, you know, sometimes, yeah, we look to the left for help. We think they're going to come and help. We look to the right for help. We invite them to come in and help. And as you say, really what's going on is they are helping themselves at our expense and at our continued suffering. And so that's something we need to be very mindful of as a people. So we're going to be getting into our conversation very soon, family. So get ready, get ready. Let me go into the YouTube channel and just see what's happening there. And I also want to be sharing the link with you today. So while I'm doing that, let me just introduce to you our wonderful guest who we have in the house and have him share something about himself before we get into the meat of the discussion. So we've got our brother Chiro Martin in the house. He's a Pan-African writer and founder of the African Shuja magazine. He's also the author of The African in Me, a book currently available on Amazon and other online bookstores. He is the holder of a BSc in Public Administration and Leadership. And when he's not reading his books on African history, he is actually writing or editing. His areas of specialism are in history, culture, and governance. Welcome, welcome again, my brother. Pleasure to have you on the platform. And I wonder if you could share with us, as I'm posting in the background, my brother, your areas of interest in terms of our African history.
2 areas of interest in terms of our African history. What I'm focused in or what Africans should focus in. Okay, reframe your question kindly. Yeah.
Oh, right. So you said you like to read African history. Yeah. So when you're reading African history, I wonder if you could tell us about, you know, precisely what aspects of our history, what era of our history. Tell us, you know, about the sort of history that you tend to read.
Okay. Like I've stated, I read on our governance, our political structures, how we used to govern ourselves, the kingdoms, the strong empires that used to exist, how we used to organize ourselves, the technological inventions, like most of the things that we see that are invented today, they started, the background of that invention was just in Africa. And we have a lot of things to take pride in.
Yes, indeed. Can you give us some examples? Some of us may not have read the same books as you. So give us some examples of what you have uncovered in your reading that we invented as Africans in ancient times.
Okay, in ancient times, we invented a lot of things. For itself, governing the governance structure, like we have in ancient Egypt. Let's say first, well, let's focus on how the ancient Egypt invented mathematics with how they aligned the pyramids, how they built the structures in those countries. Plus, we also have other invention like copper. No, the Iron Age period. Iron was first melted, or the process of melting, of making iron, was first done here in Africa.
It certainly was. And, you know, interestingly, I've been doing some research in that area myself, and I've actually included some of my research findings in my book, the remarkable accomplishments of Asian African civilization and metallurgy and the smelting techniques that our ancestors used to smelt metal to make monuments and ornaments and figurines, and you know, it's in there as well. And as you say, you know, as a people, we were the first, and we are, you know, the original people of the world, and we've been around for probably millions of years, not even hundreds of thousands, millions of years. And, you know, we were talking on my radio show this morning that quite often here in the UK, not quite often, in the national curriculum here in the UK, they give the impression from reading history that our history started with our enslavement. And it's like, really? So we went through school, college, and university thinking that our history started with enslavement. But when we start doing our own research, like you're doing now, we realize that our history goes back hundreds of thousands of years, and there's documented evidence, archaeological evidence, eyewitness accounts of numerous kingdoms and cities and empires, you know, that we, as you said, self-governed and ran so successfully prior to the interaction with the Europeans. And we've got to get these stories out to our children. And do you want to maybe tell us about one of the kingdoms or one of the empires that fascinates you the most in terms of self-governance and its achievements? Which one would that be?
There are a lot of, anyway, I can't choose specifically which African empires that fascinates me because there are many. When we were focusing, when many of those Pan-Africans were focusing on ancient Egypt, people started complaining that you are focusing on a civilization that is not of your own. But there are many, like the Benin Empire in West Africa. Yeah, the Benin Empire in West Africa. We have the Zimbabwe, the ancient kingdom of Zimbabwe. We have the Swahili Sultanate in East Africa also. We have the Zulu Empire. We have very many African empires.
Yeah, and each and every one of them has a phenomenal history, do they not, in their own right? So, you know, we have a beautiful history. Each of those kingdoms had their kings and queens, they had their nobles, they had their, as you said, their governance systems in place. We had empires, so we had our industries. Our people were inventing. We were building pyramids in Sudan, hundreds of pyramids in Sudan before we even started building pyramids in Egypt. And yeah, we introduced a whole range of all the disciplines, you know, psychology, philosophy, science, mathematics, as you said, metallurgy, construction, you know, so much. We have a wonderful history to be proud of. Yes, we do indeed. So the families coming through the door. Families, you come through the door, please do kindly let us know that you're in the house. Drop a message in the chat. I'm still not seeing the chat yet, but it will pop up quite soon. And once I do, I look forward to welcoming you into the house today. So as you can see, we've got our brother Chiro Martin in the house. He's a journalist, he's a writer, and he has written such a moving piece. I just had to reach out to him when I read his article, and you know, he's kindly agreed to come and talk about what's happening with us today in Sudan. So my brother, you are the founder of the magazine. I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about your magazine, yourself as an accomplished journalist and writer. Maybe mention some of the other writers who write to the magazine, and if you're maybe looking for other writers as well.
Okay, so the African Shuja, firstly, it's accessible through www.theafricanshuja.com. That's the online platform that we use. We also publish digital copies. I hope I'll send you after we have finished with this meeting. We also publish digital copies, PDF, that people can read offline. Yeah, and the magazine is basically talks about African history, culture, and some developing news in the continent. Like now, the article that you read concerning Sudan, yeah, that's the work we mostly do. Okay, it started as a blog, just a passion in writing. You see, I specialize in public administration and leadership, but writing came just as a passion. It's a passion. Mostly in the past, I used to read, listen to Pan-African literature and just speak to my people. When I come across a friend, I speak to them, and as time goes by, they urged me to have a platform that will educate a wider public. And that's when the idea of the African Shujaa magazine came. And with time, I met friends in campus. The first writer that I met with is called Kesao Fidel. I think if you can go through the www.theafricanshujaa.com, you'll come across that. He's a friend, he's a campus friend. I met him. And also he was also a Pan-African. He's also an author. He published a book that is also in Amazon and is selling physically to those that are in Kenya. So when when like minds meet, obviously, yeah, we developed that connection and we started working together. He accepted to write for the African Shujaa magazine, and we have been writing since then. It's like 2 years now, 2 years, and we have other writers have joined us. We have another writer from Nigeria. He's called David Kwame. He's also a good writer, and from time to time we have been having writers, the one-time writers that someone will see our work and say, here is an article, I want you to feature it in your magazine. We had many. We had a friend, one-time writer. There are many, so remembering the names, but we have a Tanzanian friend, a Tanzanian writer is called Wilson Zoa. We have been having a Kenyan also is called Cecilia. So there are many we are working with. And you have also asked that if I am accepting other writers. We are, it's a team, we are accepting anyone if you wish. This, we are not owning, this is the movement. Nobody owns the movement. If you wish, you can contribute. Okay, so some are saying that I should continue. If you're getting me, you can comment in the comment section so that I can know if I'm locked out or not.
Better unmute. Sincere
Yeah.
apologies, family. My internet just crashed and booted both of us out. But as you can see, we are back. Our sincere apologies. You know, when these things happen, there's nothing you can do. The internet's normally, normally functions really well, Chiro. I don't know. I don't know why that happened.
It's afraid of what we are going to talk, maybe.
I think that must be it indeed. Absolutely must be it. Well, let's hope that the family finds us back again and they realize that we are now back on air. So my internet's spinning a bit slowly still, but what I'm going to do is have a little look online. Oh, and okay, it's saying that I'm back on now. Rise up, brother Icon Bay in the house. Thank you so much. We are indeed back. There was a bit of an internet problem. Rise up, brother Gev, for trying to give me a call there. My internet just crashed, and we are now back. So let's get on with the real meat of the subject today, brother Chiro, while we've got the opportunity and while we've got internet, because family, this is a very, very serious state of affairs that's happening in one of our beloved countries. And our brother here has done a very deeply insightful article about it. And I'm going to find it and share the link with you as well. He's written a piece called Crying with the Sudanese. Oh my gosh. Inside a 20-year-old ethnic war against Black Sudanese. My brother, thank you so much for writing that article. First of all, I wonder if you could just give us a bit of a background to this war that's happening in Sudan.
Okay. First, I will start by outlining that before, as we spoke with you before, these are two wars. There are two wars. There's the ethnical one, and the other war is the war that the power struggle one that we are seeing. But the problem, the background of the problem started since independence. Since independence, after independence, power was vested upon you see, Sudan has two groups, the Arab that are bordering Egypt. The Arab, you see, like when you have seen the ethnic, yeah, the ethnic composition of Africa. In the north, we have the Arabs, but still they are closing in downwards towards Africa. So in the north, we have the Arabs, while in the south, we have Africans, this Black Sudanese that we have mostly seen on photos. So after independence, the power was vested upon the Arab, who now the problem now began, since the Black communities felt that they were marginalized. And when they were marginalized militarily, in government position, developmental issues. So this marginalization now cost the Black communities, more specifically in Darfur. Darfur is the most affected with this ethnic war. So the Black communities in this region began rebelling against the government. And in the rebelling, as we have seen rebellions in most countries, it involves fighting those government forces. So these communities in Sudan began now fighting government forces in a way that they were pressuring them to include them in governance. But most importantly, they were aiming at ousting this government so that they can impose a new government that is more democratic. So I hope I'm clear until there. Yeah. So, and this government happened to be the government of Omar al-Bashir, who also had gotten into power after the coup. So yeah, in those acts of rebellion, there is a mentioned case that the rebel groups had attacked government buildings. They also attacked a government plane. So this act, these two situation actually humiliated the government, and in reaction to that, they began fighting back. They labeled these people as racist or rebels. Now, which legitimized them to fight the government. I mean, to fight the rebels.
Right. So we have a situation, and you know, in your article, you said that this war has been going on for about 20 years now, whereby there has been war between the people and the government forces. So when you say the war between the people, how are the people organized to fight? I'm just trying to make sure that we're appearing okay on YouTube, but I'm sure we can hear you. I'm not sure that we are, I'm seeing your image at the moment. So let me just check what's going on there as you speak. So we've got the people, you said, who are fighting against the Arab government. And, you know, I remember when we talked before, you said there's two wars going on in Sudan. There's the ethnic war, and this is the Arabs' attempt to genocide out the indigenous people of the land. And there's also the war between the two leaders who are fighting for political power. Is that right? I wonder if you could tell us, you know, a bit about the two leaders. Who are they? And tell us what they represent as well, please.
Okay, if I can explain about how the two leaders came up. So as I reached that after now the rebel forces, that was in 2003. 2003 now the rebel forces decided that they were going to take matters after many years of marginalization and many times of this act. Like you see in Darfur, the two groups also exist. There is the Arabs and the black communities in Darfur. So, and in those, the government started inciting the Arab communities in Darfur to attack their neighboring black brothers, because these two communities are pastoralists. There are few Darfur communities who are black and they are pastoralists. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are communities black communities in Darfur that they are also pastoralists, but most of them they are farmers. So these Arab communities were, and the other black communities that pastoralists, there was this cattle riding that was going on, which also caused conflict between these two communities. And these Arab pastoralists also were taking their cattle to graze in black communities, those land of the Darfur African black communities. So it also fueled the conflict. And another thing, since that I've said, when these people, yes,
yeah,
when the rebels started attacking the government, now the government created a paramilitary body to attack those people instead of hearing the grievances of the fighting community. Instead of hearing the grievances of the Arab community, they started vilifying them, attacking them, so they could not use the army. They could not use the army. They created this paramilitary body, that was called Janjaweed. Yes.
Yes, I remember hearing about the Janjaweed. Yeah.
Have you heard about it?
Yes.
Yeah. Janjaweed now, its work was to do the dirty work of the Sudanese government that they could not do. And those acts were like, they went down, burned villages of black communities, they executed people, families, and most of the reports that have been written that they executed indiscriminately. They executed, including.
I forgot to record. Sorry, I've got the recording on now. Yeah, please continue. So we've got the Janjaweed who are indiscriminately murdering citizens. And this is in Darfur as well, is it?
Yes, in Darfur. This war has been happening in Darfur, the ethnical one. We have not gotten to the war that has been happening of late. I'm still giving a historical background since the war began. You see, I cannot talk on those two people that were fighting because their roots are still.
Okay, why am I not hearing you now?
Going back to the 20 years.
Sorry, let me side. Okay, I've got some internet challenges. It's just spinning at the moment. If you're able to continue, please do continue, my brother. Please do continue.
So, as I was saying that I cannot
continue it's to do with my speaker. My apologies. Yeah. Okay, let's take that off.
Will I continue? Yes. So I was saying that the two brothers that are fighting have their roots in this the ethnical war that is older that I'm going to speak about. And I can hear that it's raining here. I hope you are getting my voice clearly. Yes? Am I audible?
Yeah, please continue.
Okay. So, as I was saying, that after now, the government had incited now these two communities to fight. On the other hand, is it created, now there's this, the civilian, and they created this, the Janjaweed now, the paramilitary body to do that. The executioners have said they were executing people, they were burning down villages, burning down towns, they were raising mosques, killing even Muslim religious leader, and in what some thought to be just a religious war, like it has been happening. Yeah, this war is said to be an ethnical one because they were killing everyone. Anyone, some people used to be killed because of their color, the color of their skin, not because of their religion or they're in government or they are doing wars. Anyone who was black was an enemy of the Bashir government. So this war continued for some time as the rebellion continued. People defended themselves, although they were outpowered. You see, the government was fighting alongside a paramilitary body, so the Black Sudanese, the African and Sudanese were overpowered. I hope I'm clear, I'm audible. Hello? Am I audible?
My apologies. Please do continue. I'm having problems hearing you. My audio's gone. It's one problem after another, but I'm hoping to hear you. Please do continue. The family is bigging you up in the chat. I'm having a few technicals. Oh my gosh, my apologies. But you know, please do continue. Hopefully it will get sorted out at some point. I'm just trying to test the microphones as we go along.
Okay, yeah,
please continue to tell us about what's happening in the region, my brother. Please carry on.
Okay, so if I'm audible, let me continue. So as I was saying,
they can hear you. They can hear you, my brother.
Okay, thank you. So as I was saying that I think I reached, yeah, the war now started, the black communities were overpowered because they were fighting against two forces, the government and this paramilitary body. And in fact, the government, to confirm that the government was involved in this killing, it is said that the forces oversaw those executions. They helped those, they militarized the Janjaweed, they gave them weapons, they gave them training, they radicalized them. And they were the greatest supporter of this paramilitary body. So people now, as the villages were raised, numbers here can confirm, mostly in the Darfur region, the communities were Hur tribe, Masalit, and the other community is called Zagawa. And the reports indicate that almost the almost over 400 since that war began. Over 400,000 Africans have been killed in that war. Over 3 million have been displaced. Over 3 million have been displaced, internally displaced. People began moving in. African communities began moving into Sudan. Now, after international pressure, now international organization, humanitarian organization chipped in to help this community. But again, yeah, after the intervention, after the pressure, it was created, the world became aware of what was happening in that country. Now, then the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for the President Omar al-Bashir, but he evaded them. You know, see, this I think this ICC, even if we are to have an African court that will execute this arrest, I think the African court should be given power to move. Although this this policy of non-interference, but I think if it is an African continental army or a court, it should have jurisdiction over any country to go and make those arrests, because Omar al-Bashir has been hiding in that country for that long time, has never been arrested, and in fact he was still the president before he was overthrown. Later that we'll discuss, he was still the president. So they began now obstructing these evidences. They began now preventing those refugees from going on to another country just to hide the impression that there is a war in his country. And this continued. In fact, after some time, for a very long time, the Janjaweed now, the war between those two communities, the Arab communities in the Darfur region began to realize that they are being used as weapons to fight against their black brothers, whom they have been living for a very long time together. So they began uniting. There were efforts to unite these two communities. Some of those fighters from the Janjaweed communities now were entering into pact with the people, the Darfur people. They were entering into pact, and in some things, in a way that the Janjaweed was being weakened in some way. After a long time of fighting, they saw that fighting was very useless. It was not helping them. They realized, some of them that went to school, were educated, they realized that the war is they were just being used as weapons against their black brothers, and it was not even helpful. So they began entering into fact with these villages, that the fact that that prevented them from attacking each other. So when the president now, the government, still under Omar al-Bashir, who came to power since 1989 until 2018 when he was overthrown. So now the government decided that you are going to form another. They formed another paramilitary body, which is the Rapid Support Forces. Now the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, who is the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, who is now in the center of this war, was appointed back then to lead this force again, in carrying on what Janjaweed had failed to carry on. So as we continue, yeah, and I've said that, as I've said, Janjaweed was just created to carry on with what the Rapid Support Forces, that is the center of this war, was just created to carry on with what Janjaweed had failed to do. There was between Hamdan and the army general. The army general, let me get you the correct names of those that are involved. As I get as I get the name. So they created the Rapid Support Forces, which the Rapid Support Forces, is headed by Mohammed Hamdan Daglo, Mohammed Hamdan. Mostly they call him Mohammed Hamdan. And the army general, who is also the center of this war, is Abdel Fattah. So these people, they're like, you see, the root of now who is heading the Rapid Support Forces that is considered now as fighting against the government. They still the government of the sons. In another article by Al Jazeera, they have been called the two sons. The two sons. One is the legitimate son of the former president. Just ironically, one is the legitimate son because he was in the government with the then president, and the other is the illegitimate because he was on the other side of the government. So he's just the legitimate son. So the war is just between those players that have been in this war for before. Yeah, that's what I was trying to link when you asked me what is the connection between these two. So the current players of this war are just people who are from the other war. I think you are back. You can now. Okay, I think I should continue. So they created the government now created the Rapid Support Forces to continue with what Janjaweed had first established. Now the Rapid Support Forces, this time the government had made a grave mistake that will haunt them in 2020. It is in 2020. Yeah, this current war, 2023. This is it is said that they militarized this one more than they used. Maybe they might have learned from their past mistake. Maybe they realized that Janjaweed was weak because it was not more militarized. So this time they militarized the Rapid Support Forces more than it became more and more militarized until it began overpowering the forces, the Sudanese forces. And that is how the next war that we are seeing began. Now after they were militarized, they now wanted to overpower the government. That is after now. Maybe if we can go, we can flash back. There was this demonstration. I think everyone knew the protest in 2018. 2018, there were protests. There were protests in 2018. There were protests against the government of Omar al-Bashir, and that's when Omar al-Bashir fell from. He was overthrown from power, and he was overthrown because the military had announced that they had overthrown him. Now they had put in a transitional government to oversee the next democratic elected government. Although this transitional government came with some benefits to the Black Sudanese, but it was just short-lived. In the transitional government, they agreed that they will incorporate this Black Sudanese, the African Sudanese from the Darfur region. They will incorporate them in governance, which was seen, it was evident for some time, like in some places, rebels and government forces were now working together. Now in the transitional government, after the overthrowing of Omar al-Bashir, yes, after the overthrowing of Omar al-Bashir, and in fact,
please do continue.
Okay, after the overthrowing of Omar al-Bashir, and in fact,
my brother, just to let you know, I'm listening through my phone and I can hear what you're saying. You're doing an amazing job. Unfortunately, I'm unable to communicate and hear you via my laptop, but I'm hearing you, and please do continue to share what's happening in Sudan. Please continue.
Okay. So as I'm saying that, they we even forgotten where it left. So yeah, they created this another paramilitary body to continue the work. This the paramilitary body that you see, the rapid support forces, I think it's a common name in this war, in this other Sudanese war, that we have seen its root. It is rooted deep in this ethnic war. So the peace was short-lived. The peace was short-lived, although there was some agreement that was signed. Rebels who were exiled in in the neighboring Chad and other neighboring African countries now began coming back to Sudan due to the peace treaty that they thought it will solve their problems. Some villages began to be reoccupied, but again, there are some areas that you say that, including in those times of the peace treaty, that was aimed at making the country democratized, bringing back those democratic process and inclusivity in governance. But there are some areas in Darfur that still the war was going on, and in fact, it also broke out again in 2023 with this other, as they were fighting in the capital, they were also fighting again back here in Darfur. In the capital Khartoum, another war broke out in this region, in the Darfur region, to just signaling that this thing was the peace treaty that they had entered in was not functional, and this community began moving out of Darfur again. And as I stated in the article, before, the new events were marked by when an Arab, an African, and an Arab. We are both African. You see, nowadays Africa has grown to encompass even those Arabs, and although they hate being called Africans, but they're still in the continent. Let me use Arab and Black Sudanese. So when when a black trader from the black community of Darfur, and a black trader from the Darfur region was killed by an Arab culture. So let me continue.
Okay, my brother, I've just posted in the chat. I'm having audio problems, so I'm having audio challenges, so I can't actually hear you through my computer, and so I'm unable to interact. So I've posted the link in the chat just in case there's someone who would like to join the platform and interact with you. You're doing an amazing job. From what I can hear coming through, you're doing amazing, Brother Chiro. So the sound is not good, I'm being told. We're trying to do the best we can. If someone would like to join, please do. Let me allow you to continue. Maybe the sound is good for you and just not for me.
From your side, I can hear clearly.
Please continue. And if someone would like to join our Brother Chiro, please do jump on board. The link is in the chat. Please continue, Brother Chiro. Let me listen through the earphones via YouTube.
So I was also winding up with the recent activities. I was now in the new war, that the war for power struggle between now the army general, who is the army general, as you have said, the Abdel Parker, and the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, who was appointed in those times of Omar al-Bashir, who is now leading the Rapid Support Forces. As we have said, another paramilitary body that was given the mandate to carry on with what has been termed as international organization have termed it as ethnic cleansing. It's like they're trying to clean, like what happened. Africans through our history, what has been happening in North Africa. It's like they're clearing out. Some will say that they're clearing out, and if we are not careful, maybe one day they're just advancing down, taking our land like they did in ancient Egypt. We have seen in history in ancient Egypt. We have seen what has happened in those other North African countries, in Libya. So international organizations have termed this as ethnic cleansing. They were targeting black. Merely they're clearing those lands that were occupied by Africans or the black community. Yeah. The Arab pastoralists now in this country were advancing, taking over those land as they come. So in this war, we have seen the recent now activities in 2023, as the war was happening, as the rapid support process, we have said has had been militarized by the same government that it grew now. It had grown so big that it was now fighting the same government that had militarized them. As the war was happening in Khartoum, Sudan, Darfur was still at war. And in fact, this time it was worse because some political leaders, there was a governor Amisi, that was assassinated for speaking against those killings, those massacres. He's spoken of a genocide that had happened on his people, and in fact, he had called for international organization. He began calling international organization to take charge and to come to take charge to bring help to come and help his community that were going through this genocide. And others were lawyers who had also threatened to take some of to take some of those culprits to court. Yeah. So yeah. So now it's no different in this war. It's no different in this war. And as much as we would want to focus, we will say that it's a power struggle war, but there's another war that is deep. It's like, let's say it's a distraction. We have been distracted from a war that has been happening for a very long time, which we should call it out. Yeah, we should comment on it. I think maybe if anybody has some questions, I think I'm clear. Maybe if there is somewhere that somebody has not understood clearly, I can explain.
I can see you've gone quiet there, beloved. What you could do, Brother Chiro, is just signal when you want me to ask you a question. I've asked in the chat if they have any questions, and just signal when you want me to talk, okay? We'll make this happen. Rise up, Brother Oboje in the house. He says, Brother Chiro, in your mind, who's to blame for the conflict in Mama Sudan? And there was another question that I saw as well. Brother Thomas is saying, how long has the Arabs been in Sudan, both north and south? Go ahead.
Let me start with the first question. Who is to blame for our problems? We can use Sudan as a case study, but we will discuss the whole of Africa. Most of the writers, I was reading Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, and say what we are supposed to blame is our African hospitality. You see, we as Africans, we are those people that this African hospitality of welcoming anyone. We don't even care if it's an enemy. They have a secret agenda. We are welcoming everyone. We have this hospitality of hugging everyone, welcoming them to our land. And that was it costed our ancestors, it's still costing us, and I think we have not learned from that. So you see, it goes back long in history when we thought that people were coming just to trade, but we gave them opportunity to stay in our land. We didn't even know their secret agenda. And yeah, I think to blame, apart from blaming just a principle, I think we should also, in this situation, we should also find someone to blame. The government had been blamed, and it's the government of Sudan, the former government of Sudan, under Omar al-Bashir, is the one that was blamed, and it's guilty. It's very guilty, because it was the Omar al-Bashir and his government was found guilty of those human rights violation. As we have said, they murdered, they executed, they burned villages, they raped women. They did a lot of bad stuff that were fined. The International Criminal Court found it. They were at the threshold of him being issued with an arrest warrant. So I think we should blame that government. We should even it's a chain of people who should blame. The government should be blamed, because when it took power, the work of the government is to protect the interest of anyone that is it's governing. But this government of Omar al-Bashir decided to lock out the African community. Yeah. And we should also blame these colonialists for bringing out these barriers, like what they did in Rwanda, the fight between the Hutu and the Tutsi. It's just the same case. In fact, in the African Union mission that was the African Union mission that was sent to oversee, but they were just there to oversee. They didn't have the power to engage. They were just as overseer, the African Union military. Most of them were from the fighting tribes that were in Rwanda. In Rwanda, they were mostly the Tutsi. So in an interview they write on Al Jazeera, they say that this war is just an ethnic one that was like the one in their country. Remember when the Belgians were leaving, they left power on a community that they used on another community, which they used their brothers to oppress them. So they left on the opposite side. On the opposite side, when they took power, they want to revenge what happened. It's like in Sudan. So we also have to blame the colonialists, we blame the government, and even ourselves, our African hospitality. So everyone should play the role. So the second question, how long? I think it goes back in history. We have engaged with the Arabs longer than we have engaged with Europeans. We have traded with them. I can't estimate, but it goes long in history. Yeah, the Arabs have been in Africa for a very long time, and they're still advancing. Just like in these cases, let's say they clear out that land. You see, as African countries, we are not supporting one another. You see, let's say they clear out Sudan, they cleared that black land. The next country they're coming down with is, let's say they come to Ethiopia, they come to Kenya, they're advancing, as I've said, they're advancing down. So we should stand with our brothers in Sudan. We should stop this. We should know the tricks being used by these people that have been oppressing us, and to stand against those tricks. Yeah, I think you can.
Did you signal to me there to answer the question? Oh, okay, yes. Thank you for that response. Thank you for the questions in the chat as well. People in the chat are agreeing that we are too accommodating, we are too nice as Africans. You know, we don't see the deceit, we don't see other people's agenda. And there clearly, to us from the outside looking in, seems to be an agenda to commit genocide, to take over the land. It seems the Arabs are advancing now from the north into what they call sub-Saharan Africa. And I agree with you, they are going to eat away at Africa bit by bit, as they would an elephant. They're not going to take over all at once, but their agenda certainly is to take over. And, you know, they seem to have radicalized the minds of people who look like us. They've used religion to radicalize the minds of some of our people, to think that they're better than, to think that they're different than other Africans. And in the same way, as you said, with Rwanda, they managed to create the Tutsi massacres by making one group feel that they're superior to the other or the other inferior to the other. You know, again, they're using the same divide and rule tactic, you know, for us as one people to see differences that hardly exist. You know, first and foremost, as I said at the outset, you know, we are Africans, you know, we are a diverse people, many beautiful cultures, many beautiful languages, but we are one people from one root. And we've allowed outsiders to come in and indoctrinate us with their religion to the point now where we feel we need to get rid of our brothers because they are of a different religion or because they haven't got a little bit of this so-called Arab in their blood, you know. But no sooner will they get rid of, they will be turning on those darker brothers. I mean, when I was looking at this, actually, I was thinking, these same darker brothers who call themselves, you know, Arab Africans, who are murdering and slaughtering their brothers, you know, can they go to Tunisia and be accepted in Tunisia? Can they go to Morocco and be accepted in Morocco? Can they go anywhere in Saudi Arabia as Black Africans and be accepted? You know, my understanding is we're talking about Black Africans here fighting other Black Africans. We're talking about Black Africans who call themselves Arabs, are we not? Fighting against their brothers who are also Black Africans. Correct me if I'm wrong, because, you know, there just seems to be this warped mentality in the minds of some of our brothers where they seem to think they're different because they practice a different religion. Can you explain for me, and apologies if I've missed it, these are not white Arabs that are coming in and fighting Black Africans, are they? They seem to be the ones behind the scene who radicalize the minds of our African brothers and have got them genociding their own African brothers. Is that what's happening? Please explain that bit for me, my brother.
Okay. I think the interaction between the white Arabs, as you have seen, the interaction between them and this and Black Africans produces another breed of brown Arabs. Yeah, I think, yeah. So I've explained the interaction between the community Black and Africans, Black Africans and the white Arabs produce another, like you see, those who are claimed that they are not African, they're not Black, they cannot even be accepted in the Arabic world, that they want to fight to be associated with them. You're true on that. So now in this war, this war, it is, I think they're not very much identical, but I can say that we are all of them African. Those the Arabs that now pretend the Arab Africans that pretend that they are not like those the people that they are fighting. We are almost looking like the same, but now they were targeting those who are not, who do not have the bloodline of the Arabic bloodline. That's who they were targeting. I think I answered your question.
Sorry, I'm looking at the questions. I can see you've gone quiet there. Apologies. Brother Kwame Aboje, welcome. You say, how dumb can we be? How dumb can we be, you know, when you kill your own brother by trying to be something that you aren't? I mean, we've got here Tidaya, who says that's why we have to leave all those religions. Because, you know, we're using religion to divide us. We're using religion, you know, to kill our brothers and sisters. Absolutely crazy. Roderick, what's Roderick saying? Being an African-American diaspora, yes, it's religion, colonialism, but redemption is on the rise. The Most High will redeem his chosen people, Africans. He's given us the strength, he's given us the brain, the Most High has given us the intelligence to do what needs to be done. And if we do nothing about what's going on, then it's going to be more of the same. This has been going on for 20 years and we can't hope for change. We have got to make the change happen. You know, we can't believe somebody's going to jump out the sky and bring about the change. We have got to be the change. Rise up, brother Geb in the house as well. He's saying, so it's our hospitality. How should we view them now? You know, are our brothers, the indigenous people of the land, now realizing that it's our hospitality that has allowed, you know, this group to grow in power and strength and turn around and hate their hosts? And if they are recognizing it, obviously they're fighting back. But are we organized in our fight? And how can we on the outside help and assist? Lots of questions there, but let me just allow you to respond, please, Brother Chiro.
Okay. I also think also my time is closing up. Let's respond to this one. So I think we should, now it's time we should organize, since we have learned from our past mistake, that is the African hospitality, that we have been welcoming Arabs, Europeans, that they also turned, the friends turned to be enemies. So we have learned that our problem is the African hospitality. We can limit this. Yeah, like you said, we have been welcoming them without even knowing their interest. Currently, as we began this conversation by saying that Africans, we are on our own. There is no friend who is coming to us. Those military bases that are being set up in Africa, they're promoting peace. It's a lie. No peace that they're promoting. Those military bases set up in DRC promoting peace. We know it's not peace they are promoting. So if it's trade, I think this Pan-Africanism has come up in an era where there's this global interconnectedness. We can't isolate ourselves, but we should be keen on who we are defending. Yeah, I think you can continue.
Thank you for that signal there. So we're in a situation where, you know, slightly lighter Arabs, you know, who are still Africans, wherever they go in the world, if they were to go to the UK, if they were to go to America, they would get the black treatment, because as far as the rest of the world are concerned, they are blacks and they are Africans. Despite what they've got in their head, you know, they've been ideologically radicalized into thinking that they're more superior than the other Africans. But I can assure those very same Africans, and I hope they're listening to the show, I can assure those Arab-minded Africans that they are very much viewed as Africans wherever they go in the world. And the fact that they're in their mind, they think there's something superior because, you know, they're closely linked to the Arabs. All they're doing is the job of the Arab to take over African land. And as soon as, you know, these Arabs have wiped out the darker Africans, the indigenous Africans, they will turn around on them and wipe them out as well. And, you know, if we don't take direct action, Sudan will be looking like the way Egypt is looking, the way Morocco is looking, in terms of the hue, in terms of the complexion of the people who are in charge, running the country and resources of the country. And so, you know, the mindset, we've got to somehow change the mindset of these radicalized Africans who, you know, are targeting and abusing and carrying out the most heinous crimes against their brothers. You know, what can we do to wake up, you know, these black radicalized Muslim-minded darker brothers of ours? Who can get through to them? How can we speak to them? How can we reach them? You know, if they were to go to Morocco, Tunisia, Saudi Arabia, as I was saying, they will be getting the black treatment. They will be getting abused, you know, yet here they are, dumb-minded, as has been said in the chat, genociding their own darker brothers. What can we do to get through to the mindset of these radicalized, Islamized, brothers of ours?
Okay, what I can say from experience, I think it's very hard to convince our brothers from the other side. In fact, most of them, I think maybe we can look at the history of the United States. We had the Nation of Islam that were Pan-African in nature, but I think it's hard to mobilize them. What I can just suggest, we should just continue. If you have a friend with, expose them to this Pan-African literature, expose them. In fact, most of them have been a victim of, I think it's cyberbullying or what. Most of them have been following on my social media. In fact, there was a time I spoke about Arab slavery, and someone was very angry about what I had spoken of Arabs, and even I didn't even mention of religion or individual people. I just say what happened during Arab slavery, and someone was angry. So I think that some of them are very, 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 very radicalized to an extent that changing them will take a very long time. But we should just continue. You see, if you want to change the mind, I think we should just continue like the way they radicalize us. I think we should just continue carrying on this information, teaching them about Pan-Africanism, sharing this information. One day, people will change. They'll change. So I think we should just create awareness, 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 awareness.
Okay, I see you stop talking. Rise up. There's a slight delay on the YouTube. Roderick, rise up. Unity, absolutely agree. Unity among us is key. How do we get that unity amongst, between us when some of us are not in our right minds, have been radicalized by someone else's religion. And of course, we have to talk about Arab enslavement. Of course, we need to remind our people of what's going to be happening to them. They don't realize that, they're working alongside. And this is a trick that has been used throughout our history over and over and over again. If we go back to for example, to Tunisia, when it was Carthage, yeah, and when Hannibal, the Black Hannibal had that beautiful, beautiful empire of Carthage that he created in that region, and when the Romans couldn't beat him. The Romans tried to beat Hannibal and his army, but they couldn't. And Hannibal could have taken Rome. He was at the gates of Rome and the people were wailing and wailing and wailing, and he's had pity for them, and he didn't sack the city. 20 years later, they built an army over 20 years and came back, and who supported them so that they could beat Hannibal? People who look like us, our own Namibian brothers, worked alongside the Romans and beat Hannibal and sacked the entire region. And a few years later, after that ruler died, what did the Romans do? They took over the land of the Namibians. That's how they captured, the Tunisia, Morocco, and all those regions. And so they convince us to fight on their side. They convince us, that they are our friends, or we're brothers because we're of the same religion. They try and convince us. They deceive us. These people are the kings and queens of deception. They deceive us into believing that we're on the same side. And some of our people are so fooled by the deception, they work alongside them to the detriment of their own people. And once they've slaughtered and murdered and genocided out their own people, then they become the victims of those same ones who are in the dark laughing at them because they don't see that they're murdering their own brothers. What do we need to say and do to wake up those blinded brothers of ours who seem to not be in their right mind and think that they're better than, and the indigenous Africans like us are less than? Let's go over to the chat and see what's being said in the chat. Rise Up, S.A. Smith saying 100%. We need a part 2 of this discussion, please, says Hebrew Shemites. Yes, and hopefully, I've lost my brother. Well, we definitely have to have a part 2. It's been a night of challenges, family. My internet strangely just went offline, which, you know, never happens. But then it came back again, and it came back, and I don't have any sound, but, you know, trying to do the best we can. Brother Chiro has been absolutely magnificent under the circumstances. He's continued with the conversation. Hopefully he might be able to come back, or there could be load shedding where he is. He may well have lost his internet now. Family, to those of you who have remained with us throughout this discussion today, I thank you so much despite the challenges. Thank you for being with us. Let me go over to the chat and what's been said. And Tidaya is saying, as a people, don't trust nobody, man to man. It's so not a joke. Yeah, Bob Marley. Okay, quoting Bob Marley there. And we've got Brother Kwame Aboje is saying, and no surprises, we can be so treacherous and traitorous against our own kind. And yes, my beloved brother, unfortunately, you know, throughout our history, we can see that we have had these treasonous, treacherous ones among us who are prepared to work alongside the enemy to the detriment of their own people. But history also shows us that, you know, once that enemy has used our people to defeat the stronger and greater numbers of us as a people, they then turn around and enslave, or they then turn around and abuse the same Africans who worked alongside them as friends, because they didn't realize that those people were really their enemies. Rise up, Brother Kwame, I'll say, good to see you in the house as well. He's saying land and resources. Yes, that's the name of the game. Indeed, they want our land, they want Africa. Family, when you think about it, you know, those of you who've been following the series that I've been doing, where we've been uncovering our history in the region of Europe, you will know that as Africans, we at one time had populated the entire globe. We were everywhere. Why are we not everywhere anymore? Why are we no longer as the majority in the northern region of Africa? Why are we not in the Mediterranean area any longer as the majority rulers of the land, and, you know, the ones who are managing the resources there? Why are we no longer as a people the majority in Europe, the majority in Australia, the majority in Canada, the majority in America? Why? What has happened to the indigenous people of all those lands? It's the same thing that is happening right now as we watch in Palestine. They are being genocided out so the Israelis can take over their land. You know, I'm not the only one saying it. That's clearly the name of the game. And we are seeing that same game being played out now in the sub-Sahara region of Africa. All those wars along the sub-Saharan borders of Africa is all about the Arabs and other races pushing further into Africa, encroaching into Africa, taking over more land, and in the process of doing so, slaughtering, murdering, raping, and killing thousands of our people while the world turns a blind eye. Well, we're going to be continuing to spotlight this, family. We're going to continue to highlight and expose what's going on in that part of the world. Yes, Kwame, we were everywhere in the world. We migrated out from Africa, populated the entire globe, and had been across the entire globe for hundreds of thousands of years, until there was that incident where the ice cap melted. And as we know, the Neanderthals came out of the caves on all fours, and life just hasn't been the same for us since. Okay, over the 6,000 years, you know, they've lost a lot of their animalistic appearance, and they look human, don't they? But clearly they're a different species to us. You know, all the DNA analysis tells us that. But there is a characteristic, there is a nature of this other species, the species that don't have any melanin or hue, or very little of it. You know, the non-pigmented people. There's a nature among them that seems to be, you know, that can only be satisfied with the shedding of blood, and with terror and horror and wars and destruction and evil and wicked. Wow, Brother Geb said, Africa is the largest open prison known to mankind. Exactly. We think we're free, don't we? But we're not. We're living in an open prison. And if we want to step over that border, we have to get a pass. If we want to fly to another part of the world, you know, we have to get permission and we have to get a visa and we have to get a pass. We think we're free, but we're not free as a people at all. Rise up, family. Ellie is saying our phenotype is mutating. Wow, you know, this is very scary indeed. She says our phenotype is mutating. Explain a bit more, elaborate a bit more on that for us, Ellie. Share with us what you're seeing happening there. The Hebrew Shemite Collective is saying, you notice this genocide is not discussed in the mainstream media. Exactly. That's why we're discussing it here on this platform, family, because, you know, there's a genocide that's been happening over 20 years. I was looking at some reports, family, and I was seeing how, you know, at one time there were villages, there were cities, you know, people were living in particular areas, large swathes of land. And then after the militia groups have gone through, you know, and chased out all the people, murdered and killed the people, burnt down the shops, burnt down the houses and everything, all you're seeing is derelict, great vacant land. Basically, they are wiping the land clean of the people, wiping the land clean of all the buildings that were there, ready for the takeover. They've probably already, you know, noticed that there are particular minerals under there that they want. And as we know, we've got these wicked, evil conglomerate organizations who have an infinite appetite for wealth. Doesn't matter how many billions they have, you know, in their bank accounts, they want more, they want more, they want more. And they don't want the people in the way, they don't want to share. They are just about killing and destruction. These are serious times. Most of us don't realize we're in a war because a war takes on, you know, so many different guises. But, you know, I was listening to something earlier today. What was it? It might have been the works of our brother Mitri, who sent it to me, and he was saying back in the days, you know, Africans, if they heard the guns being fired, they would know that there's a war, you know, and if they saw people coming with the guns, they would know that they're at war. But today the war, you know, takes on so many different fronts. We're at war. There's a genetic warfare that's been waged against us. There's biological warfare that's been waged against us. There's, militia groups who have been armed and trained to run riots in our communities. There's economic warfare that's been waged against us. There's all sorts of wars that are being waged against us as a people, economic, political warfares. They take out our leaders, assassinate leaders who want to, you know, do for the people, or they'll organize coups to take good leaders out the way. You know, I think we need to be taking a leaf out of the book of Burkina Faso and the likes. Our people need to get in those army, learn the skills, learn the techniques, and take control of their governments. Because, you know, if we don't take back control of, you know, our land that we've got, the little bit of land that we've got left in Africa, if we don't take back control of it, if we lose it, it's end of. What's going to be the future for us as a people? Ellie says dominant phenotypes destroyed, recessive phenotypes overcome. We are being overcome by the recessive. The recessives are growing, you're saying, and those of us with the dominant melanin are being decreased on a daily basis. And the sad thing about it is that, you know, we are complicit in all of this. We are contributing towards the decrease in us as melanated people. Rise up, brother Aboje. Kwame Aboje, and Kwame Ose is saying genocide is going on in Congo, DRC, Congo, yes, Central African Republic, Somalia, Southern Tanzania, the Sahel, Angola, at the Anglophone Cameroon. We are under constant attack. You know, family, we've got to wake up. If we don't wake up and realize what's going on, that we are under attack, and that there is a deliberate agenda to genocide us as a people, to reduce our numbers. If we don't realize what's going on, By the time we wake up, it's going to be too late. You know, on our radio show, Dr. Abu often talks about two sets of dealers, the hope dealers and the dope dealers. The hope dealers are the pastors who, you know, have our people in a state where they're hoping for a better tomorrow, praying for a better tomorrow, hoping for a better tomorrow, praying for a better tomorrow, but not doing anything to ensure that we have a better tomorrow. So they are the hope dealers that have our people, you know, locked into this mindset, into thinking that they can hope their way into change. Change is not going to come just by hoping. And then we've got, you know, the hope dealer and the dope dealer. The dope dealers, as we know, they give our people the drugs so that our people are not in their right mind and don't have to care about what's going on in society. And so, you know, between the hope dealer and the dope dealers, most of our people are just not in their right mind to take action. And in the meantime, we are being slaughtered, you know, like chickens. We are being slaughtered because we don't realize and recognize what's going on. Tendai Mari, brother Kai, brother Kai, welcome Kai. Tendai Mari saying the attack, you know, is 24/7. Yes, indeed. Rise up. Is that Sister Kai? Rise up. Reaching out to you very soon. Brother Roderick is saying it's also a spiritual war. Absolutely, you know, and they've captured our spirit, haven't they? Because, you know, prior to these people coming onto the earth, you know, we had our gods, we had our deities, and we worship gods in our own image. And by worshiping a God in your own image, it's empowering. It gives you power because someone who looks like you is your God. Someone who looks like you, you know, is saying to you that you can do it. But what they've done is they've trapped us into a religion where we're worshiping images that don't look like us. And so we're waiting for people who look like the image of the new God that we've been given to worship to come and save us. And there they are saying, we're going to come as the United Nations, as the UN, we're going to come as the IMF, we're going to become, come to you, come to help us, the World Bank, and we're going to come and help. They're only helping themselves. And our situation is getting from bad to worse. And most of us don't even realize that the same people that we're looking to save us are the same people who are only saving themselves and are working towards our demise. And so those hope dealers who are those ones who are hoping on their knees praying, can you please get up and organize and join the fight to save your people? Let's work towards becoming self-sufficient. Let's work towards doing what we need to do as a people in order to take back control of our land, take control of our minds through the education system, take control of ourselves spiritually, you know, by worshiping gods who look like us and realizing that the same gods that we are praying to were the ones that those of us who were enslaved were praying to for 500 years. And if those gods didn't come and save us in the 500 years when we were being lynched and tormented and torn in quarters, when the women were having their babies slashed out of their stomachs, when we were being roasted alive and hung on trees, if the God didn't come and save us then, that God ain't going to come and save us now. So it's about time we realize that, wake up and realize that we have been tricked. This is the biggest con that they have given to us as a people, substituting, you know, our gods that gave us power for gods that have no power whatsoever. S.A. Smith says they are bold enough to have a slave ship called Jesus. Yes, indeed. That's how barefaced and wicked they are. And that's the extent to which they laugh in our faces. They're like, yeah, you think Jesus is going to come and save you? Watch, Jesus is going to come, all right, in a slave ship for you. Wow. Brother Aquaria Bodger says it's so true. Shanice, we are too busy so-called praying that we have to grow up and be self-determined. Absolutely. Tendai Mwari, yes, Kwame Bodge is rising up. Sister Kai in the house. Tadida is saying it's written in the book of the deeds, or in the book of the dead, sorry, that we are going to turn ourselves from our gods. Well, you know, the gods that we were worshiping when we were great, maybe they're the ones we ought to be worshiping now so that we can be great again. You know, they've captured our spirit. So they've got us spiritually, economically, politically. They've got us under lock, family, and we need to wake up. And we need to wake our families up, and we need to wake our communities up as well. Okay, we've got a huge job that needs to be done. Brother Roderick says we are living in the time of judgment. Nations are being judged. You know, we can't wait to be judged. We've got to take action. And, you know, it's not no judgment time. We've been around for millions of years, you know, and we're going to be around. If we sort ourselves out, we'll be around for millions more years. But we've got to prepare for the future generation. These people, you know, the ones who don't look like us, don't like us, who are not our friends, they're preparing for their future generations. How? By taking over the world. They've decided that they want to control the world. And there's too many of us in the world. Simple. And so they're doing what they can quietly and slowly to reduce our numbers and to get rid of us. And because they do it so sweetly, most of us don't even realize what's going on. But they do it by controlling everything, controlling the businesses, controlling the resources, controlling the airspace, controlling the armies, controlling the military, controlling the jobs, controlling industries, controlling education, controlling the politics, controlling the spirit. They control everything. You know, as Brother Geb said, we're in a big open prison and most of us don't even realize it. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, Roderick, it's also a spiritual warfare that's going on as well. The spirit of Cain is among some of our brothers. Wow. You know, family, we need to recognize what's going on. Icon Bay says, not the so-called drug dealers. What do you mean? The real dope dealers are the doctors, not the so-called drug dealers. Yes, so we've got dope dealers, drug dealers, and all sorts of people giving, you know, trying to take our minds off of and away from what we really ought to be focusing on as a people, you know. Wow, family, if our mind don't sharp, we will find that we're going to be a race of people like the so-called Red Indians were, that the future is going to be talking about. We're going to be a race of people like the Eskimos that we were once talking about. We'll be a group of people, you know, like the Argentinians who once were black but are now white. We'll be a group of people, you know, who are no longer on this earth if our mind isn't sharp. You know, there is a genocide happening against us in so many countries across the world. You know, if I can find the list from Brother Kwame Ossi, who was telling us, who was naming for us all the places across the world, across the African world, where we are being genocided out as a people. I can't find the list now, but the Central African Republic, we know Sudan, Cameroon, I think he said in a part of Tanzania, you know, all these borders, you know, where wars are being waged against our people. It's all about, here it is, in the Congo, DRC Congo, Central African Republic, Somalia, Southern Tanzania, the Sahel, Anglophone Cameroon. We're under constant attack. And in all those instances, the people who are attacking the indigenous people, the people of the land, are people who look like us. Ellie, I don't know why you're blocked there. I'm definitely not blocking anybody. There is something in the algorithms that withholds some messages. I don't know why, but you know, it's what's happening. Yes, Kwame is reminding us Papua New Guinea as well. Our heart bleeds for our people in Papua New Guinea, you know, who are being genocided out by their neighbors so that they can take over their land. What are they called? Yeah, who are the ones slaughtering the Papua New Guinea, the people of Papua New Guinea, you know? Oh, there's genocide happening everywhere, and it's all happening while we're on our knees praying, hoping for a change. We can't hope for a change. We've got to be the change. Kwame Obaje says, Sister Shanice, add Kai. We must bring back our OAU. Sister Kai, do you want to jump on? Let me get the link for anybody who wants to jump on for the last few minutes of the show. I'm just going to copy, let me copy the invite link and post it in the chat. Copy, there we go. How do I get back to the chat? Okay, so I'm just going to post the link in the chat. Sister Kai, jump on if you would like to do so. And anyone in the chat, if you'd like to jump on, there is the link. Okay, Africans, we are our own people that need to be focused. Yeah, we need to be focusing on our problems, absolutely, because our problems are insurmountable. Rwanda and Darfur, Indonesia, that's right, the Indonesians, and they are wiping out the people from West Papua. You know, what a world. We're living in some serious times, family, and unless we look at all of what's going on, you know, we don't realize the extent of the problem. And so we need to take our heads out the Bible, family, and look at reality and look at what's going on. You know, we are the original people. We are the first people of the world. If there was a chosen people, it's us, melanated people, you know, and we have melanated people who look like us murdering other melanated people because they're not in their right mind. They've been radicalized. They've been made to think that they're different somehow. And so, you know, they're doing the work of evil. They're doing the work of wicked ones, you know, that we are the ones who are going to have to be the change that we want to see. Absolutely. Okay, so Kwame saying, what about Ghana? Yes, with all whatever go on with down there. We have to watch that Ghana, you know, because them all are set up manufacturing company down there to deal with them something. Then we can't talk it because they took another 2 of my videos last week. Back in 2020, they went all the way back to videos in 2020 to hear the you know, mention to take it down. You know, that's what they're going in with. So you see Ghana and the other countries that are working with Ghana on that agenda. This is it. They're coming for us in a multiplicity of ways. And it's all about depleting, you know, the first people of the world. So we've got to be having children, you know, we've got to be popping them out like there's no tomorrow, really, because, you know, we're going to have to be replenishing the earth. We're going to have to be putting our people back, you know, because we are the rightful keepers of the world. We are the rightful ones who have the responsibility to look after this planet. No other race or group of people cares about the planet more than we do. You know, we never, ever in our history caused the amount of destruction to the earth that we have been seeing in the last few thousand years. You know, if you look over the last hundreds of thousands of years, there's never been, you know, the colossal level of destruction against, you know, human beings that we are seeing happening at the hands of these other species who have joined us on this planet. This is serious. These are serious times. So yes, Tadia is saying we always cry for others, but, you know, we've got to cry for ourselves. So today, you know, our hearts and our minds and our focus and our energy is with the people of Sudan. And we also need to remember, let me find that list again. Yes, we need to remember the people of Rwanda, the people of Sudan, Darfur in Sudan, the people in New Guinea, the people in Papua New Guinea. We need to remember those in DRC Congo, those in Haiti, those brothers and sisters who are under attack in the Sahel region, those Anglophone and Francophone Cameroonians. You know, we have to remember, I mean, imagine brothers, some speak French, some speak English. So they're slaughtering and murdering each other on behalf of their former colonizers. I mean, we really have lost the plot. We have been so radicalized. Our minds we're not in our right mind as a people. We have to remember our people in Somalia, our people in southern Tanzania, DRC Congo, Haiti, the Central African Republic. Our people are under attack everywhere, and we have to remember them, stand with them, cry with them, and we have to do what we can wherever we are to talk about what's happening, to let the world know, you know, what's happening, to make noise about what's happening, to cry about what's happening, to write articles, to blog about it, vlog about it, you know, have discussions about it in our WhatsApp groups, in our organizations, you know, bring it to the attention of governments, African governments. African governments, you need to stand together. African governments, you need to come together, or you're going to be picked off one by one. Wow. Okay, well, no one's joined me here on the platform, and we're almost at the top of the second hour. I want to thank each and every one of you who have managed to stay with us throughout the show today. Wow, we've certainly had more than our fair share of technical challenges, but where there's a will, there's a way. So thank you, each and every one of you. Remember, on my other channel, we actually have we have a premiere on Friday at let me get the link, at 7 p.m. I'm just gonna find the link now for that premiere so that you can put it in your diary. So each and every one of you, it would be wonderful if you could join us for the premiere on Friday at 7 p.m. We are launching a new series. I've just posted the link there for the premiere. This coming Friday, it's going to start this coming Friday at 7 p.m. GMT time, UK time. Okay, join us, do join us. It would be awesome to have you in the house, in your seat, in your front room for that premiere. We are premiering a new educational program, and it's going to be a series of programs that's going to decolonize us as a people and recolonize us, recolonize us. So it's called the color psychology, the African color psychology. All right. And it's going to be presented by the organic African paradigm. I've got a new teacher who's going to be coming. He's going to be sharing with us. He's coming with new concepts, new ideologies, new definitions. It's going to be powerful, people. And so family, join us on Friday. Be in the house. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, I know we've had more than our fair share of problems, so please do still give me a thumbs up. Sister Afro-Jamo, rise up. Sister S.A. Smith, rise up. Ellie, Kwame Aboji, Kwame Oje, Sister Kai, Taida, the Hebrew Shemites, Ellie, to everyone in the house, Brother Geb, to each and every one of you who have been supporting us today and in previous days. Mustafa, rise up. Brother Mustafa's in the house. Brother Icon Bay in the house. Rise up, each and every one of you. Thank you so much for the support. Yeah, we're premiering on Friday at 7 p.m. Yeah, put it in your diary. Keep hold of a copy of the link. Please do share it on your Facebook, your Snapchats, TikToks, Insta, all of them, Twitter, X. Please do share. Thank you so much. Sister Shanice out of here for now. Oh, and don't forget the book, my ladies, The Remarkable Accomplishments of Asian African Civilization. I would love to have a few of you who get that book and read it to join me on a show for a conversation about the book, where you can be open and honest and tell me, you know, what your thoughts, views, and opinions are of it. And to those of you who haven't yet got King Offa, yeah, the Black King of Anglo-Saxon England, you can get that via Amazon as well. It's the festive season that's coming up. Let's educate our children and give them the right mindset so they know of their former greatness. Because if they know how great they were, then they'll know how great they are. Sister Shanice, out of here for now. More love, more strength, more voodoo power